Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Happy Monday,
Morning.
everyone. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend and getting up today with this 50-degree weather. So we're gonna have a great week
Woo!
of getting the sweaters back out. So
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
For a day,
yes.
yes.
right?
and
For a
we
day.
happy
Well,
Monday,
maybe
everyone.
for a
Hope
couple of
everybody
hours
had a
only.
Yeah,
fantastic
just
week
for
getting up today with well,
Yeah.
couple hours in the
Mhm.
morning, and then it
So
gets
we're
hot
gonna have
again,
a
and then
great
it's
week.
cold again. It's a wonderful Florida, all seasons day. That's how I call it. You start with winter, you end it all with summer. So that's
Yeah.
great. Only in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
only in Florida. Yes.
Everybody had a
Oh,
great
yeah.
weekend. Ready for the week? Guys, this is like, I feel like this year is flying. We're already on the
Oh,
second week.
yes.
Can you believe
Oh.
that?
Second week. Can you believe
Going
that?
towards the third one.
Yeah. Next thing is
Yes.
Valentine's, and then
Easter.
spring. Yes. What's it called? Spring
The
break,
spring
and
break.
then
Spring break.
and
Yes.
then
It's just
spring,
coming.
summer,
Mhm.
and we're back to Thanksgiving. I might as well buy the turkey today.
Might as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was looking at the calendar. My daughter's like, "Oh, next Monday I had no school." I'm like, "Wait, you just came back for a break?" But yeah, next Monday we will be here next Monday, even though there's no school. It will be the office will be closed, but we are not
What?
closed because we are realtors. So we
Yeah.
will be up here bringing you guys Mindset Monday next Monday too. So don't take that foot out of the pedal because it's a holiday. It's still that's the day, oh, that's the time when we actually are, busier because that's when we have more people in town. So I would see you everyone Friday and Monday as well. So we're gonna give you just a few more minutes. We still have people coming through. We
Yeah,
have a
we'll start
great
in a minute, though. In a minute, because
Good
I know
morning,
we.
Nina.
getting everybody coming in. Another
Right.
note that I want to point out really quick now that we just here this Wednesday, it's a Wednesday when you have your classes or at the
Yes.
Orlando office.
On Wednesday, we're gonna be having a business plan. If you didn't get to do it in November or October or November, definitely this Wednesday from 10 to 12, we're going to be talking about the vision, intentions, your goals, your numbers, the target. So that's super important to get to. We should have done it last year before we started the year. But if you hadn't get a chance to
November.
do
They
it,
should have done it in November.
yes, but
Mm,
still, if you haven't get a chance to do it, we're gonna go ahead and do it on Wednesday again. So come to here in the Orlando office from 10 to 12. It's gonna be via Zoom or in person, preferably in person. If you can come in person, it'd be great.
and it's in Spanish, correct?
In Spanish, correct. And that's gonna be in Spanish. I'm gonna do one in English as well, and I'm gonna add it to the calendar as well for the following
Awesome.
week.
Awesome. And Thursday, I have combining offices, which is Premier and Nona. We have a first branch meeting of the year, and our CEO, Joe La Rosa, will be there. So great
Yes.
if you guys want to come in. Everybody's invited. We're going to be a lunch will we provided. So Joe's coming in to give us all the latest news on the company, what we expect for 2026. So I'm super excited. We're gonna have also his wife Dina, Laverne. We're gonna have a great crew coming in from corporate office to let us know what we have in place for us for this 2026. So I'm super
Hmm.
excited. I hope to see everyone there. We send out the link, so we ask to please register so we can do it head count, make sure we have enough food for everybody. So again, that will be Thursday at Nona from 11 to 1. So please put that,
So
mark your calendars for that day.
I have a question, Priscilla. So
Yes.
since Joe is going to be there, it's not going to be pizza, it's going to be steak.
We will, it's definitely not going to be pigs. That's all it's,
Uh,
it won't be pizza. That's not my
Okay.
style.
How
Well,
about
I like
steak?
pizza.
They don't know.
all right, let's get started. Let's get started.
Nothing
The
wrong
oh
with pizza,
07.
though.
The what?
I said nothing wrong with pizza, right?
Pizza is good.
No. But you can
All
ask.
right. So let's get started on the mindset. This is the second mindset Monday of the week.
It
Yes,
is the
this is the
second
second
one.
Yes.
mind of the month. And I know that a lot of reality is kind of settling in already, right? We're already getting to work because we start the year with kind of like a fresh start. We start with excited. We start excited about our goals. We start excited about everything that's going on. But something starts to happen as we get into the routine. that excitement kind of fades, and we start competing with our intentions. Starts competing with our intentions, and for many of us in real estate, that anxiety sometimes starts creeping in because we already know that unless we are selling, we're not making no money. And that's a big reality there. So that is something that kind of quietly creeps in, and we have to be very careful because it's not always loud, but it can be extremely, extremely persistent. Now, that anxiety for us may not come up as what we normally think of anxiety. It comes up hidden, and I believe it comes up hidden in a way of hesitation, procrastination, overthinking, and constantly second guessing yourself. That's why it creeps up, especially after we already got into the routines and it's competing with the intentions. Because the thing is that most people assume that anxiety just comes from the market is going bad or the market is up, down, left, right. We don't know sometimes, depending how the future of it, in a sense. We can try to predict as much as possible, but we can't. Interest rates, clients, we all have, good clients, bad clients, those clients there in the middle, uncertainty. That's something as well that affects us when the anxiety is creeping in because most people assume it comes from those little things. But
Right.
in the real life and in leadership, because the whole thing about this, one thing we have to remember that all of us on this call, everyone that's listening, everyone that is a real estate agent that took that step of faith is a leader. You have to believe that you are all leaders because of the fact that you wanted something more for your life. You wanted something more. You wanted something that you can either leave for your kids, you want to leave a legacy, or whatever that why is. So with the moment you took that step of faith, you became a leader. You became a leader of where you want to head or where you want to be at. So most of the time, that anxiety always comes up in one place, which is lack of clarity. That's why we talk about the business planning from the beginning of the year, from October, from November. I know Eric mentioned that you should have done it already in November, and that's true. But we also have to have grace, of course. We have to have grace with ourselves that if we didn't get a chance to do it, it's not the end of the world. You have time for everything. So what happens is when expectations are unclear, decisions become a little bit delayed. We kind of are, that's where the overthinking comes in. When the direction is fuzzy, the confidence drops a little bit because if you don't have a structure or plan, then you have nothing to believe in that moment. So you're being what? Reactive, constantly being reactive. And that is something that you have to be very careful with that because of the fact that when you're reactive, you're just responding and blowing with the wind. And we can't be blowing with the wind. We can't just quit our jobs and start this career as an entrepreneur and just blow with the wind. We can't because at some point that wind's going to take us into places that we don't want to be in. It's going to be a lot of anxiety because if we're letting ourselves be blown by the wind, we don't know where the wind's going to take us. So we have to be
Correct.
very careful with those things because then it's going to creep up. So this topic today matters because the thing is not it's not 100% motivational. This topic is a time for us to reflect and really understand that this is to allow us to stabilize each other, to be able to stabilize our mentality, our clarity, so we can continue moving forward, not let that anxiety creep in. And stability is what creates that consistency that we need in real estate, that consistency in our actions that we're going to do on an every single day, on an everyday basis. We need that consistency. That way we can hit our goals, reach where we want to reach. So the 4 points that all of us are going to be discussing here, and please, everybody, please chime in. This is a very interactive conversation. We love the interaction with everybody because everybody has a different view. Everybody has they come from a different place. So the 4 points are going to be: anxiety is often a signal, not a problem. Sometimes we feel that anxiety is
Correct.
just a problem. No, it's a signal of something that we're lacking clarity in. So we have to be very careful, how we approach that, how we receive that anxiety.
And it is
Number
good
two,
though.
the second point, clarity creates movement, not comfort. And we'll get into some topics here with that. And third point, leaders create calm by creating structure. I said earlier,
There you
as we
go.
jump into this business, it was a step of faith for all of us to jump into this business. And you got to be proud of yourself for doing that. Be
I'm
happy with
sorry.
that
I'm
decision.
sorry. Repeat that again. I want everybody to hear it. about leaders. Leaders do what? They create
Leaders
what?
create calm by creating structure. 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 It is super
Mhm.
important because the structures was going to give you that confidence. It's going to give you that stability.
Yeah.
It's going to give you that mental clarity for you to continue moving forward to your goals. But if you have no structure, you will not have any clarity. And that is
Correct.
something extremely important. And the last one, which this one's a big one for me. Overconsumption often replaces decision making because I've coached before for a long, long time. There's a lot of us
Mhm.
on this call that were coaches. There's coaches currently on the call right now. And right now there's a tendency that a lot of the agents, when they come into the business without the structure, without the plan, with all that, what do they start doing? The number one thing they start doing is over consuming and training, over consuming. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with training. I'm not saying I'm not against training. We all have to train. But it gets to a point that we have to start taking action. And because
Put it
there's
to
no
work.
clarity in the steps that you got to take action in, then you just
Mhm.
overconsume YouTube videos, training, contracts, this, the third, but that's all theory. That's all things that are not taking a step closer. Yeah, we're getting an overload of information,
A lot of data.
Mhm.
and
Yep.
some people love receiving information. I'm one of them. I love receiving information. I love that. I love looking at stuff. But if I just stay in that mode, then when do the actions takes place? So
Correct.
those are the 4 points we want to talk. I want to start opening up. I know Priscilla, you have your hand up. Let's get started.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that in real estate, when we get anxiety, because like you mentioned before, because we don't know what to do next. It's really difficult because we don't know when the next deal is going to close. We don't know when that next paycheck is going to hit our account, so
Mhm.
we get that anxiety. And like you said before, like the best way to prevent that is to be able to have your business plan. Do you have a business plans? You know your numbers. You know how many phone calls you got to make in order to convert that into a lead. You know how to grow your pipeline. You know that honestly, you can have and I've seen this before with top agents where they have 5 deals going on and 3 goes down south, but they still have 2 on the pipeline going on. So you get anxious, but you're still pushing for the ones you have.
Mhm.
So again, our goal is to be able to help you have that, eliminate that anxiety and stick to the plan and stick to what, instead of going like Caesar say, going in and taking all these classes, we got to take action
Correct.
and be able to convert those information, not just in a data dump, because a lot of us do data dump. And I'm gonna say I'm one of those where I go to a training for 8 hours, I come back out and I'm like, what did I learn? Or you had to take a quick test, especially for those who had to renew your license. We go in, read it really quick, click 1, 2, 3, and then we don't even know what we read. We just did a data dump, absorb the information, use it in that moment, and move on. But that creates, honestly, it will create anxiety for us, not know what to do next. It's confusion. It's not the lack of talent. It's not
Correct.
to me that you're not talented. It's
Yep.
just that we don't have a clear vision of where we gotta go.
I
Right.
love what you said that, but I was literally, you were right in my mind because I was thinking about that lack of talent. Because
Like a
the thing is
right.
that we all have to believe that we have the ability, because we all have the ability to do this. When you really think about it, if you put yourself from a third person and step out and you look at the whole entire process of real estate and the whole process, we have the ability to do it. All of us have the ability, because sometimes we see people that are doing, there's a lot of times I hear individuals that say, oh, I'm not, this is super hard because the language barrier. But yet I know people personally that have that speak this one specific language and they help all different people. And what's the difference? We all have the ability. We just got to believe. We got to believe in ourselves. We got to believe in ourselves. That's a huge part about this, that we have to believe that
Correct.
we can do this, because we all have the ability. We have the talent. However, the biggest thing is that not having clear steps is where that issue comes in, whether it's with prospecting, whether it's with follow up, whether it's with whatever the case is, whatever it is. If there's you're getting anxiety, that's your first signal. Wait a minute, I need to maybe take 2 steps back
Mhm.
so I can take 30 steps forward. Let me review my steps and why do I feel unclear in this area, and then from there you make adjustments. Jorge, or yeah, Jorge, you got your hand up.
In actuality, what you mentioned, Caesar, is I mean, it's nothing wrong to having anxiety. It depends how you take it. I mean, sometimes anxiety can give you a signal, like something like it matters to you, like you actually react to it. The thing is how you react to it and what do you do with it. I mean, it gives you, it means like actually you care. For me, it's like you care that you actually is something is in your head that you're willing to do, and apply all that in not only in real estate, but it has to be in life. You know what I mean? Something you care. What are you going to do with it? What action you're going to take? Like you said before, I mean, it doesn't really matter how much data you take, as long as you put it to work. Everything that you learn, like today's date, I mean, everything that we're discussing today, and what do we do with it? Just go ahead and put it to work, listen to it, take a little piece of each, and just put it to work. And that actually, I think, anxiety is a good thing to have. It just depends how you handle it.
Yeah, it's correct, and it's especially if what's your next step. Okay, I'm
Correct.
getting anxious about not having enough lead. What's my next step? Let's get more leads. It's just like you said,
Exactly.
it's like a little signal there letting you know that you need to sit down with yourself and figure it out how you can get be able to fix that situation. Wanda, you have your hand up and you
Let's
mute.
get these three, and then we'll
Yes.
go to the next point. Go ahead, Wanda.
Yes, and I think all that you guys have said, the uncertainty, the anxiety, and all that, it turns into be a frustration. That's how I see it. The frustration of okay, get frustrated and then you get paralyzed. And then you
Yeah.
wake up with the uncertainty of sometimes like
What am I
you know,
gonna do?
yeah, scratching your hair,
Exactly.
like wandering around, like you don't have any clue because your mind, mess you up like that. Walking around like you're just paralyzed and you just don't have any clue, like you don't know nothing, like you don't have no knowledge of what you need to be doing. And then you get frustrated, but you have everything in there, like, okay, what am I gonna do today? I can go do this, I can make a phone call, I can go to this new construction, but instead, you just get paralyzed and get frustrated. The frustration come with that uncertainty that like your mind doesn't give you
Respond.
clarity of taking action.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's why we create all these
Mhm.
trainings, and all this, continuously creating training on how to get you back into that track. And that goes for all of us here on this call too. I mean, even though no matter what level you are in your career, because I've seen top agents that you go out there and you feel like, wow, they're closing, blue diamonds, closing 10,
Mhm.
14, 15, 20 transaction, but everybody goes through it. And like Jorge said, it's like, okay, it's not a bad thing to be anxious. It's just, okay, how do I handle this? What is it that I need to look at and how I can fix
Right.
it to be able to move forward?
Amen. Amen on that. All right.
True.
Well, Cheryl had her hand up. You had your hand up, Cheryl, right?
Is that I just wanted to add, I remember Priscilla, you mentioned once that usually when you do the trainings, you do a training, you apply to your business, and then after you do that is when you uh do another one. So you don't get another training without applying what you just learned. And I love
Mm-hmm.
it because and that happened to me a lot. I was doing training, and I never stopped to actually apply it to my business. And what's the point of doing all of this business? So I think that's a great idea what you do, that you do a training, apply to the business, and when it's already working or
You
applied,
master it,
that's when
then you
I
go to the next. I do that with
Excellent.
books too. So I'm actually finishing up a book, but as I read and applying the book, I'm not going to jump to the next chapter until I absorb this chapter first.
Right.
And it's be able to take, like I would say, like one bite at a time. And even though we do offer the weekly classes, we offer weekly trainings, but you have to really go into those trainings and see, okay, what is it that I want to for my business and which of this training is going to help me get to where I want to go. Because we all, even though we're on the business here, we all have different goals when it comes to monetary goals, when it
Most
comes to
definitely.
personal goals. So it's figuring, having that once again, going back to being clear on your goals, being
Mhm.
exactly to the little details of it, it's going to help you to be able to move forward.
Now, I love
Yeah.
what Cheryl mentioned because it puts us right into the transition of the next point, which is the clarity creates movement, not comfort. Because the whole thing is that, like what she said, you take a training, and then either you continue doing training and just taking information in, or you stop. Okay, let me take this training. Okay, how can I incorporate this into my business? That's the movement part. That's the action part that we
Right.
need to really focus on. Because the whole thing is that we just need to change our focus into, okay, I already did the training, so now, okay, I need to apply this. If this is going to be part of
Mhm.
my plan, so how can I incorporate this in my business? So then you can create movement. That way you can remove the hesitation, because the whole thing is like, okay, when before you jumped into real estate, I'm pretty sure a lot of us had a 9 to 5. I'm pretty sure all of us had jobs. So we just didn't, well, some of us quit our job and just jumped, you know what I mean? But before that, there was hesitation. Before that, there was a hesitation for you to make that move, to take action, to get into real estate, because one, you were not sure where the money was going to come from once you quit your
Correct.
job. Okay,
How you're
where's
gonna
my income going to come
transition.
from? There was
Correct.
the hesitation. So the clarity was, what was the clarity? That you went and did you
Do you want to do
prepared.
it?
You went and did your class, your real estate course. You did your whole 63 hours. You did the test, you passed the state test, which gave you the confidence at that point to continue moving forward, to continue to now be make it a reality, your goal of leaving your job or leaving your 9 to 5. That
Correct.
clarity of understanding and that confidence that you gain through the training, because now you're learning more. But
Correct.
that clarity stopped the hesitation from now you jumping into your business and quitting your job, or
Mhm.
going part-time to dedicate more time to your real estate, while you're still receiving income, and to the point that now you can fully depend on the income and have faith in the business that you're in to continue creating that income. So all of
Caesar.
us, every single person in this call, I'm pretty sure that they had a job, they had to make that decision. So I always
Oh
say, when you're
yes.
part-time or full-time, at some point you got to make that decision. Just to give you an example, me, it took me, I prepared for a year before I quit my job. And then I ran through my savings in 6 months, all of it, because it took me 6 months to sell my first house. You know? So that was stressful, but that was almost 14 years ago. So that is a huge blessing, because if I would have never prepared, if I would have never wanted more for myself, or I never wanted more for me, for
Correct.
my family, I would have never jumped in. I would have never looked for clarity in this. I would have never looked for to avoid the hesitation, and I would have never jumped. I would have never took the leap of faith. I would have still been in that job most likely, or probably something different. Who knows? But that's the thing about clarity. It creates that movement that we need, but the thing, it doesn't exempt us, because you might still be
Right.
uncomfortable because we don't know everything, and we still don't know everything.
If you
Magda, you have
stay
your hand up?
comfortable, you don't grow. That's
Yeah.
how I see it.
Magda has
Yes, Jorge wanted to say something.
no.
What do you?
Just wanted to, before we go to the second point, I wanted for
Mhm.
Caesar to share what Rosalia indicated on the tag on the
Oh, wait, I didn't
message
see the chat.
Oh yeah.
Okay, okay, Rosalia, in order to minimize anxiety, hold on.
with
Wait,
real estate.
with real
For
estate, for
real estate.
me, I couldn't see that word. I couldn't see that. It works best if I partner with a more experienced agent and shadow them, so I can borrow their successful moves.
Mhm.
That goes
Very
along the
good point.
lines of
Mhm.
success leaves clues. You want to
Hmm.
work with someone that is successful to see what they do, so you can duplicate it,
Amen.
and then in the
Mhm.
hopes that that duplication of their efforts is going to translate to your things, into your goals, into reaching your goals. That's a
Yeah.
great way of doing it. But at the end, don't forget that you still got to add your touch, because
Amen.
everyone's different, and
Mhm.
Yep.
Rosalia has a special talent that top agent, or whatever case, doesn't have. and we
Hmm.
and you have to understand that but you have to believe that you have that special talent. You have to believe that you're capable and have that talent to be able to, overpass that agent, or whatever the case is. So that's a great
Happens to
point,
me.
Rosalia. Thank you.
I did shadow an agent at the beginning of my career. I mean, a lot of you guys know I shadowed agent for many years, but I did absorb the good habits. And I noticed a lot of bad habits that I was like, okay, I not know what to do and what not to do when it comes to be a top agent. Magda.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great thing. When we have clarity is we know where we're going, and that's the most important thing because we see it all the time. Like with us, if we start the week without knowing what to do, if we don't write and everything that we're going to do, sometimes it's like, okay, what I'm going to do today. And now it's better to be clear, to write down what you want to do. That way you don't have that anxiety. You know where to go. And like Horace say, yeah, sometimes it's good to have anxiety because it's like um it's a wake up call. Like you need to do something because if you have anxiety, it's because something is missing. So it's a good way to check what you're not doing and just start putting everything together and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because in real estate, every day, if we don't do what we're supposed to do, we are unemployed. So we don't have a
Salary.
a salary that we're going to have every time. Like, no, we gotta work for what we want to do. So, and it's very important to be clear and to write down and check all the time where we want to go. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
What it kills me sometimes is I
Mhm.
see people when we have an 8 to 5, we there 8 to 5.
Exactly.
Why we're not there for our own business? Why we get comfortable? This is the only career that I see in sales.
Very good point.
Be
Yeah.
working that you cannot get comfortable. As soon as you get comfortable, you're not getting business.
Yep.
And all the careers and all the out there, you get that paycheck, you still show up, you still do the things you need to do.
And you're
But
miserable.
imagine running your own business. You're growing somebody else's business. And that's what
Yep.
you're doing, helping somebody else grow the business. And now we have the opportunity to do that for ourselves. When we put it
Correct.
that way, it kind of like hits a little different. It hits, like, wow, wait, I should be putting the time in because I did it before.
Correct.
And now I'm doing it for my next generation. I'm helping myself, but I'm also helping my family. And
Amen.
it's a beautiful, I mean, imagine you create your own schedule here.
Yep.
Correct. And
Now,
and like you said, Priscilla, I mean, in order for you to help somebody else, the first thing you need to do is help yourself. The clarity is that you have to be focused on what you want and what you want to do, and the clarity, like Cesar was saying, in regards when you transition from a 9 to 5 to this type of job or self-employer, whatever the job is, you had to have a prepare yourself for a transition. Same thing we applied right now, and is every time that we go further and further in within our careers, actually, you just need to focus on what is your next step. How are you going to transition from this point to the next one? And
Yeah.
and the only way that we can, I mean, like Cesar said, I mean, okay, I got a clarity, I did it, and what now? I mean, am I gonna stay comfortable on it, or just prepare myself to transition to the next step? And I think most of us are in the phone call because we want to transition to something new, and
correct.
this is the reason why we're here.
Now I still
Yes.
like 5 hands went up, but before we take the other hand, I know it was Eric, I mean Cheryl, Eric, and Norma. But before we get into the other points, and we're gonna do, I'll say something really quick. Because how do we apply this now in real life, in regards to real estate? So we can kind of understand where we're getting anxiety, where we can get some clarity in, so we can be the leaders that we put ourselves in, and we're called to be leaders. So I wrote down here, like, having clear daily prospecting windows versus deciding each day how, if you feel ready or not. Because the other thing is that sometimes we believe, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. The other part is defining your ideal client versus chasing every single lead. And I've fallen into that. And this is, and we've been kind of getting into our finally, after 14 years, into our specific niche in regards we want to work in. Also setting a pricing strategy before an appointment versus reacting in every single moment. Creating a follow-up plan versus relying on memory, which a lot of us do. A lot of us do
That's
rely on the memory, write it on a piece of paper, got a little notepad, boom, we write it there, and then we have 5,800 notepad and sticky notes everywhere, and
you've
trying to
loved
figure it
it.
all out
Mhm.
instead of putting it on a CRM. The other
Yes.
one is choosing a lane for the year versus constantly pivoting. Deciding on something versus every single week you change because you heard something new on YouTube or you went to a training class and now you want to do this. You want to work with expires. The next thing you know, oh no, I'm gonna work my SOI. No, then I'm gonna work with for sale by owners. No, that
Constructions.
you just keep hopping around, pivoting every single week. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm talking from experience here. These are things that I've dealt with myself in the past. So all of us pretty much have dealt with this. So
Mhm.
those are some real life examples of how you know these areas can create anxiety because there's lack of decisions in regards
Mhm.
to the clarity needed to perform in these areas. So Cheryl, Eric, oh no, Eric, Cheryl, and Norma, go ahead.
Okay, I want to go back to just quickly back to a comment or something that Jorge said about you got to help yourself first. This is, look, I'm on my third marriage, but but this is what I had to learn. This is what
Amen.
I had to learn.
Sorry.
And I'll give you the example. When you fly on a plane and you sit there, before it takes off, the stewardess goes up there and gives a little presentation. And she shows you how the mask drops from the ceiling. Who does she
Mhm.
say? What does she tell you to do with the mask? Put it on yourself
First.
first,
First. Yeah.
then go help the others. And this is what I
Very
had to
good.
learn. And this is why I have a relationship with my daughter, because I needed her to understand this. That if daddy's okay, guess what? You'll be okay. Okay. Seriously,
Mhm.
you first, and you're gonna be okay. But it's gotta be you. Don't be
But
afraid of being selfish.
Thank you. Thank you. That's,
good.
Mhm.
yeah.
Good.
It's not being selfish. I think it's self-care. That's how I call it. That's
Self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
self-care.
I,
Yeah.
I like
I like
self-care. I
that.
like
Self-care. Yeah.
I
I
like
like
self-care.
Me
that.
too. Me too.
All right, Cheryl,
Definitely.
You
you're
muted.
muted. You're muted.
Um,
You know that when you said that how you can apply that to yourself, at the beginning of the year, there's always a ton of training and a ton of classes that we can attend. So in this year, everybody has their own their own goals. For me
mhm.
this year, I want to be more intentional of the classes or the thing I'm gonna learn or do. And for example, the first thing I say that I would recommend everybody to do what I want to be better at. If I want to be better at short sell, if I want to be better at negotiating for the buyers. So you look what training is gonna help you to grow in that area of your life that you want to grow. For
Mhm.
example, I want to focus on buyer. Okay, if I want to be better on negotiating for buyers, there's classes as real estate negotiation skill at the association. It doesn't matter,
Yes.
Aura, Oscar, it doesn't matter which one you are. And the reason I'm saying this is because some of us wait until the last minute to get our CE credit um, because we're close to the end of the time frame they gave us to do the classes. Why
Mhm.
don't we do it backward? Now that we already completed those hours, why don't we say which classes are we going to take that also can give me CE credit that help me to grow the way I want it to grow or where I want to focus. If I want to be better on listings because listings are coming and all of that, there's an amazing class that is Sellers Represented, CRS, that coming from Aura. It doesn't matter where it is. It's just
Mhm.
focus on taking the classes that you want to grow with. But the first thing is what I want to focus on. Okay, I want to focus on buyer. Okay, what do I need to do to be better with buyers? Why we wanted to do this? Because now in this market or in general where we are on the buyer side or the seller side, we just need
Mhm.
to first um, show them our value. And the way to show our value is to show them what we're gonna do with them, in my experience, we feel more comfortable talking with a buyer or seller or what we do and offer our services when we have more knowledge of how to deal with a transaction. Even
Correct.
I'm not saying that you need to have experience. Experience is not everything. It's something that I just learned this Saturday,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
that it's not about experience. And I love that that guy mentioned that um John Maxwell actually said that you don't need, it's not about experience. Have you seen people that are older than us that they have experience, but they're not better than some others?
Of course not.
It's that you need to look what you did wrong and take those things and sit down and see what I did. It didn't work, how I can do it better, and use that experience and actually reflect on that experience and take that so the next experience that you're gonna make, you can grow from it.
Good.
Now we don't need to wait until, okay, the time to take the classes are coming in 2 years. No, now let's do it backward. We need 14 hours. So those are the 14 hours we need. Let me do 3 hours on this, on this, on this, on the things that is gonna make you growth and the things that you feel that you can be better at. And so you're taking advantage of best of the both worlds.
Yeah.
The exact quote was experience. I put it in the chat. Experience is not the best teacher because there's
Correct.
plenty of, I don't want to say old people, but older generation
Hey, hey,
that have
hey.
not improved.
Wherever
But
you
it's
were.
not
That
the
wasn't me. I
best.
didn't say that. I didn't say it. It was somebody else. I'm quoting somebody, okay?
Like you said, it's good, but it's not the best.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that you have experience, but it's not the best because it's pretty much you can sit and, like you said, you can sit and stay comfortable with it because you have experience. But if you don't do anything with it and you go further with it, experience doesn't do anything for you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like to be open-minded.
Mhm. Like it's
Open-minded.
good, but not all the time because
Correct.
we have experience with some like realtors that
Mhm.
say, "Oh, I'm a broker for 30 years," and they're doing the wrong thing, and they telling you like, I have experience, but you're doing that's not correct. You're doing the wrong thing. So you've been doing that for so long.
You
So
think is right.
sometimes it's not experience.
All right.
That's
Let's
the thing.
continue. Let's continue moving with the points. The third point that we kind of discussed. I know, Norma, you had your hand up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Okay. All
Pass.
right.
Okay, Norma.
So the leaders calm by creating structure. Creating structure.
Mhm.
Because the thing is that we feel the safest when we know what's going to be what's expected and what comes next. Because the whole thing is that there's a word I'm gonna say right now. There are a lot of people. I mean, I feel that me personally, I felt that as me growing up or getting learning certain things that people will attach a negative connotation to it, which is routines. People associate to a routine. Oh, that's boring. That's a boring person. It's just a specific routine, the same thing every day, the same thing every day, the same thing every day. But there's something that, for example, I deal with, which is decision fatigue. That sometimes we don't even realize that we're having decision fatigue. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the whole thing is that I believe, me personally, I've come to understand that I'm not meant to make so many decisions on a daily basis. And I need to have more predictable decisions. And how I do that? By creating the structure so that I can have that I already know. I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to be like, oh, I gotta think about it. No. Like for example, in the morning, if you stress out dressing in the morning, then you don't want to start your day stressed out because you can't find what to wear. So what you do, you prepare the night before. So you stress the night before. That way in the morning, you're not dealing with it.
Let me
So
say something really quick there, Cesar. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I read that President Barack Obama wear the same suit. He probably had like 30 to 40 of them. So that was one less
said that.
decision to make of what to wear. And then I went back to research on it, and he has the same suit very much in all the activities. I was like, wow.
and that's a perfect example. You see, like for example, when Like these big dudes, like when Steve Jobs used to do the perform, what he used to wear was a black
Black and
t-shirt
jeans.
and some jeans. That's it. So you fix those decisions, those small decisions that add up over time on the during the day that you make them predictable. So that's the importance of being able to creating structure. That's the importance to reduce that stress. That way it's something that makes for you it makes it a lot easier. It makes it a whole lot easier. That way you don't have the decision fatigue. Because believe me, I deal with it sometimes, and because I'm overthinker, my mind is always racing, and I have to calm it down. But I don't know if you guys, like I said, routine has always been associated. Oh, you're boring. No, it's not that I'm boring. It's that I have a routine. I know where I'm going. Have clarity what I want to do. I want to be able to leave those thought process for big decisions, and those little small things. It's already predictable. If I eat chicken every day, I'm gonna eat chicken every day, which that's not the case. But I know some people out there that are very heavy with, like, for real, like people that are very conscious about what they eat. If you ask them, I can put money on it, they're gonna tell you they eat the same thing pretty much every single day because they know it's predictable. They know the calories it's gonna eat. They know everything.
every
They know
week.
exactly what it is. They don't have to think. They don't have to when they go shopping for groceries. Oh, what am I gonna buy this week? No, they already know. Boiled chicken and broccoli. I'm done. That's it. Yeah, it may sound boring. It might not be like the best thing, but once in a while you have a steak or whatever. But they already know exactly what they're gonna be eating on a weekly basis, not a daily basis.
I'm one of those. It's one of those. And like again, going back to that, like what I feel for myself, I treat myself like a cell phone, right? You charge it overnight, so I'm charging overnight because I'm resting. In the morning, I have full battery, and the first 4 hours in the morning, if you notice, your phone needs to be charged again around noon. That I treat myself like that. My first 4 hours is when I have clarity, is when I tackle the biggest task that I need for that day, because I have the energy to do. And then I recharge at midday. And that's basically when you take your little lunch, recharge again, and go back and tackle the next step. But if I have something, a big decision, a meeting, big things that I got to do, I rather do it early in the morning. And again, it works differently for everybody. I'm a morning person, but for me, that's my time. And that's helped me to be able to, as a leader, be able to plan myself better for the week, plan myself better for the month, and be able to have a better structure.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
All right. So the last point, as we wrap up, we got about 10 minutes left. The overconsumption often replaces decision making. I know we've kind of talked about it. We've kind of talked a little bit about the additional training, additional things that we're doing just to
Correct.
feel as we're productive, because sometimes we fall into we're busy, but no money. And really, we all fall into that. That is something that it's super important that we realize, because when clarity, like I said, when clarity is missing, people default to consuming more information instead of choosing a direction. We have to choose a direction. We have to decide, like Cheryl said, are we going to work with buyers or are we going to work with sellers? Okay, if I'm going to work with buyers, what's the process for buyer? What is the thing? And you know the process. You know what I have. You know what you have to do. Think about it like you have to. You know exactly what you have to do. So watching more videos, waiting for the perfect script, searching for the next strategy. What that does, it just delays execution. It delays the execution.
Yes, it will.
It's already clear. That is already clear enough. But the whole thing is that we fall into that. The other day I had a conversation with someone that called me that they're frustrated because the last 3 months they haven't done no transactions or have anybody in the pipeline for a transaction. However, one thing they've been doing is they've watched every video on YouTube when it comes to real estate. And as she's telling me, what came to my heart at that moment was tell her, look, it sounds to me like you're stuck in theory. You're stuck in theory and no action. You need action now. You need to take action. I even talked about it with Priscilla, the last week. You need to take action because right now you're stuck on theory and learning, but that only takes you so far. And that's why it's so important that we understand and we have these communities that allows us to, at least help us realize certain things that we're doing that could be the defining moment for your defining, thought or thing someone said here on the call that makes that difference for you to make that mind shift to go ahead and start taking action. Start taking action. Start, even if it's not perfect, the thing, then don't fall into that perfectionism, because the whole thing is that even in our decisions, things are not going to be perfect. Things are not going to be perfect. And we have to be
Correct.
okay with that. It's going to be incorrect. It's not, you might not look the way you want to look on video or whatever the case is, but the fact is that you did it. So throw it out there. And most of the time we already know the video that we
Correct.
thought that will never get any likes or views or whatever the case is the one that went the furthest.
The
So
furthest thing.
it's just something, take action, 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 and don't fall into overconsumption. Any other
It takes
thoughts?
time to create a habit. So if you guys, one thing that I do, one of my new resolution was for me to lift weights. I'm like weight training. So I'm doing it honestly, like maybe like I started with like 1 minute, 2 minutes. Now I'm up to 10 minutes, but I'm doing it a little bit at the time instead of going in there, kill myself in the gym, come out all sore and tell myself I will never go back. So
Right.
it's a small step, small actions. Go ahead, Jorge.
Atomic habit.
Yes, in Cesar, you mentioning about the overconsumption, especially nowadays with all this social media, seminars, and everything else that we surrounded by. I mean, I'm sure, especially, it is good and it's bad for the, especially for the new agents, right? This is something that they can be overwhelmed. But and like you said, this type of platform, this is something that will give them more clarity, and at the same time, I mean, and like you said, something that we learn, anything that we learn and that we share, and especially like Rosalia mentioned, that she will get someone that actually is experienced, that has been getting good results, shadow from them, and taking action. Of course, put it to your own style and take an action, because if you're going to continue consuming, like Cheryl was saying, is consuming without putting it to work, is practically you just going like a hamster, just running into the circle. That's it. I mean, pretty much actually, and yeah, like you said, is taking it, execute and put it to work. Yes.
That's
Carol.
correct. And it's just one little step at a time. Like I said before, just every time you go to a big training, take the highlights of that training and the things that you feel that you can apply to your life. Apply for 30 days. It takes 30 days to create a new habit. So
30
let's
days to new habit.
stick to it. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Guys, you know what? I just want to end this call saying, guys, this year is going to be a good year. This is me, just my feeling. That's my feeling. So, if a good moment to start doing something is today. And January is so good to, I don't know why, but people you feel that January, I do, that January is the perfect month to start doing something. So if you're gonna start doing something, just do it. And stop thinking about it, just do it. I know people that have been thinking to take some classes one day, to do that one day. Today's that one day. Today's that one day. So we don't want this call just to be a call to help you to let me see, to
Feel motivated. Just feel motivated. It's not just about feeling motivated.
exactly. Want you to take actions. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter how many motivation calls you hear. This is the second of the year. So second of the year is perfect. Just do it. So we don't want everybody who leave this call without having something that they're gonna say, you know what? I've been thinking about this for a while. Let me just do it. Don't let this day finish without you starting to implement. It's good to have a plan because you need to have a plan so you can go backward. Okay, I want to get to this point. So now I know where I wanted to get, what I need to do to get there. Okay, after you do that, just start doing it. We don't have to be perfect. I know some agents, they say, I don't speak English. It's okay. Just start with the one who only speaks Spanish.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know enough. Okay, start making those calls so you know what they're gonna ask. So the next call, you know what to say. Oh, but I don't know what that. But let me tell you, the only way that you're gonna get better doing something is doing it.
Yep.
So if you don't do it, guess what? You're not gonna get better. You wanna get better? Just do it.
Yep.
Okay.
Do it
So
now,
And
like Jola
do it
Rosa
Do
now.
it now.
Do
Right.
it now.
You know that we
So-
have an amazing
Simplify.
tool that I guess a lot of people don't use. It's called Jamie. It's on my agent account, and you can go in there and tell. It's like AI. Talk to your AI. Tell them this is where I'm at. this is what I want to be. What
Right.
can I do? And it will give you so many great ideas if you want to go that way. However,
Yeah.
we are providing those trainings for you too
Yep.
in person.
Now, before we close out, I want to give some guys some reflection questions that I think you should write down or at least contemplate. I had a few, but because of the sake of time, when I close out, I want to pick a couple of good ones here. Where in your business do you feel the most anxiety right now? It's number one. That question one. Where do you feel the most anxiety right now? Okay. What is unclear in that area? What expectations or processes or directions is unclear in that specific area? Like, I love this one right here. How does your clarity impact the people who rely on you? Because I'm pretty sure all of us have a why, and I think that's a huge one there. How does your clarity impact the people who that rely on you? Okay. Now, another one is what would happen if your commitment to fewer priorities with more focus? Okay, less fewer priorities, but more focus. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. And then, what single area needs clarity this week? Not motivation, because as Cheryl was saying, sometimes we fall into the motivation wheel and motivation. But sometimes
You're
that,
right.
how tired run out of thread, we run out of motivation in the sense of, because it's not motivation only. We have to continue pushing forward. We have to, because there's going to be a point that, like, I'm to the point, I don't even like going to motivational things anymore, unless it's something that it's going to help me move forward. You know what I mean? Because I'm just motivational. I can't listen to no motivational, those things on YouTube. Motivation. Yeah, they're great sometimes, but I'm just motivational out. I just want to start taking action to see the results. Okay. So
Makes sense.
as we close out, one thing I want to say with this as well is that, because sometimes anxiety creates this feeling, the feeling of that you're behind. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. Okay. It just usually means that if you're having the anxiety, is that you need definition, you need direction. Okay.
Yep.
And as Cheryl mentioned, it's not supposed to be perfect. Clarity is not about knowing everything. It's about knowing enough to take the next most responsible step in your goals, in your career, in your business that you jumped into, that you took that leap of faith to, that you did it to create something better for your family, you did it to create something better for your kids, for your wife, whatever the case is, for yourself, to be that person that changed the generation moving forward. You did that. So it's just basically having the clarity to take that next responsible step to move forward. So this week, don't try to fix everything. Don't take this, okay, I'm gonna fix everything, okay? Because I'm that type. I'm gonna go fix everything, make a huge plan, this and the third. No, don't try to fix everything. Choose one area of your business that you need to define clearly, okay? You need to define clearly the expectation, the processes, and the decisions in that specific area. Work on one thing, like Cheryl mentioned. One thing, just do it. Just go ahead and take action.
For
That
30
way,
days. I would
yep,
say.
for 30 days or just this week alone, then it's going to translate to everything else, because the whole thing is that once you give that clarity, it's going to reduce the noise. It's going to reduce the noise. And when
Especially
you reduce the
noise.
noise, you can hear yourself, because if not, we're always taking in information from everywhere else. And that alone is going to create the confidence that you need. It's going to create the consistency that you need and the leadership that you put yourself into, that you were called to, because you're here in real estate already. So
Amen.
this week, I pray that everyone takes that leap of faith and really focuses on determining what area of the business needs clarity.
That's the homework, guys. So let's go ahead, sit down today. And if you have any question, reach out to any one of us here on the panel, and we can help you out as well in case you feel a little stuck. You don't know which direction to go. We can guide you through it. That's what we hear. That's Evolution Network English. We're here to assist you. We're a big community that is here to support each other. So again, feel free to reach out. We're here. Thank you, guys, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
everyone for
Bye-bye.
being here
Happy
today.
Monday.
Happy
Monday.
Monday. Go kill the week. Go ahead and get everything you need to do for this week to get you to the next level, guys.
Bye.
See you guys
Thank
Good.
you.
Tuesday
Bye.
and Thursday this week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 It was awesome today.
Yes, it was a
Thank
good
you.
call.
Thank
It
you.
was.